Hi everybody, it's Tracy. I've been working on some flip books with these prayers for my children. These are from Visual Faith Ministries, and you can go to visualfaithministries.com and get these yourself. They're free. They come with 31 pages, different fonts, and I've finished one book. It's just cardstock and some scrapbook paper, and I did some inking on it. And there's 31 days. This is going to be a shower gift. And then when you turn it around, you go back. It's kind of like for a calendar. I'm just doing a quick flip through, but if you want to see how I put this together, I'm going to show you how to make the base. And you're going to need, if you want to do the lining, you're going to need 2 pieces of paper. This is 5 by 4. And these small pieces are 2 pieces of 1.5 inch by 5 inch. But I'm going to show you here in just a second how I did that. And this is one that's half the size. I did the exact same size, but I folded my paper in half. So I've not put the scriptures in there yet. And this one's just some pretty Hobby Lobby paper. But you can do this with scripture writing or whatever. And I'm going to show you how to make the base, because I've had a few people ask me, and I did this in a small group on Facebook. And these pieces of paper are 2 pieces, and they are 4 inches by 5 inch, and then 2 of the 1.5 inch. And I'm just going to glue them down just like this. And it's a 12-inch piece of paper by 5 inch. So I've got some tacky glue here. All you need is some kind of paper glue. I'm going to use my tacky glue today. And I'm just going to put me some glue on here. It's really simple. This glue kind of wiggles around, so you have to make sure you put it down and it is in the right place. And the way I did it, I didn't score my paper. I just kind of folded my paper like this. And you can take your bone folder if you want, or if you don't have one, you can take a good pair of scissors and just do it like that. And that's one side. And then I'm going to glue a 1.5 inch piece by 5 inch. And I'm going to put it down right here. And the way that I did it, I stood up and just kind of pushed it right up against it, because you want to be able to fold that so it can fold up, if that makes sense. Okay. Now I'm going to get some more glue on the next 1.5 inch by 5 inch. And I'm just taking my paper and just kind of folding it. It don't have to be scored. These small pieces don't. You can do that if you want. I don't. You'll see why here in a little bit. I want it to be able to fold, but I don't want to damage my paper. You want to make sure that it's not completely against it. Just make sure that when you fold it up, there's a little bit of a gap there. Because when you have this, see, it's kind of like a W. It's just stable, more stable, if that makes sense. Okay. Now I'm going to fold this side up just a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to glue this side down. Now, if you have directional paper, you may have to piece it at the bottom so you have the right direction. And if it's on the back side, you know, it might not bother you. Some people it would bother. And as you see this, I had to piece mine because I had directional paper. So, but I'm not going to worry with it on this one. This is just this paper is very busy, and I don't think it's really going to matter. If it bothers you, though, you'll need to piece it. And I'm going to just square it a little bit. Okay. And there's your base. Now, this is going to be the inside of mine because I'm going to put this on the outside. But before I do that, I want to make my holes. And the way I made them, I can show you how I did it. But this is my pages. And I measured in an inch and down 1/4 inch, I believe. Let me see. Oops. I measured in an inch and down 1/2 inch. So you can do the measurements, or I have a template here, so I'm just going to use my template. It's always good to have a template. I like to give these as shower gifts. And I'm just going to take my single hole punch. I think this comes from Dollar Tree. And punch my hole. The reason I like to do this is so when I glue this page down, I don't have to go about worrying about my template again. If that makes sense. And as you can see, there's just a little bit here that I have to trim. But it was pretty close, and this was my second one from that 12 by 12 piece of paper. So I love it when I can use a whole page and not have to waste. I'm just trimming my... You can use a trimmer for this. I'm just using a pair of scissors. I did use a trimmer earlier to cut my paper. So, and this is cardstock paper and a piece of lightweight, I don't know, cardboard. Okay, now I'm going to glue this other side down. And I like to just start with one end and go across because you can get crooked really easy on these. But if you feel like you can do that straight, you do you. I tend to go crooked, so I like to make sure that I'm... And the reason I like to use this tacky glue is it gives you a little bit of time to wiggle room. I'm gonna take a gift card and just, this glue is kind of thick, so I like to use a card and then just kind of rub it. Now be gentle because this is really wet glue. If you use something like art glitter glue that dries faster, you know, you're not going to have much wiggle room. So I have that too, but I wanted to use this because I have more wiggle room. And don't really put it in the cracks because you just need it to stick to this cardstock. We don't want our paper getting wet and breaking down on us, okay? Feel like it's going crooked on me a little bit. I might not have cut my paper straight either. I tend to do that sometimes. But you can always ink around these and hide your spots where you mess up, or you can add a trim because this is your design. You do you. I just don't like to waste, so I might just go around it and ink it because I did get off a little bit right there. As you can see, my printer or my trimmer probably didn't have my paper in the right spot. But I don't do perfect, so I do okay, but not perfect. Alrighty. And I'm gonna trim. Try not to get your cardstock. Alright, now what you want to do is just ease this up. See that will kind of buckle on you if you don't watch. And just be careful because this real wet glue is bad for that. You can use sticky tape too with this, two-sided tape if you want. But I just didn't want to wait a long time for the drying. But just don't rush it, let it dry so you don't damage your flip book. I just wanted to kind of show you how to put it together. Because I had a few people, and like I said, it was a private group, so I couldn't share my video. And you need 2 rings, book rings. And you can get these at the Dollar Tree as well. These are 1.5 inch. These are 1 inch. I think these come from Walmart. And they can be hard to, especially when they're new. I might have to get me a different one. That one's pretty tough. I have to get my husband to open these sometimes because my hands are not strong. You can buy these in different colors. I've got this one here. There's one that's open. I'll use it. These are green, as you can see. I didn't paint those. They came like that. And what you do, this is your finished product here. You just put your book rings on there. They're a little hateful, so it takes a minute to play with them. But right there's your finished product. And I like to do this because, let me see if I can find my belly band. I think it fell on the floor. Here it is. I made a belly band for this pink one because I like to give these as shower gifts. And this is just a piece of paper I wrapped around it and punched. I think I almost made it too small. But it does fit. Just gotta wiggle it. But I like to hide the little prayers for my children and kind of let it be a surprise. But that's how I do them. And I hope this was useful to you. And I hope you all have a good night. God bless you.